What if I double up, is it visible on camera? If I look straight? Not really. That looks sick. Alright. If you watched my Accidental Husband review, which a whopping 19 people did, you would know that I'm taking on the draining challenge of watching every Blumhouse movie. And if you've watched any of my prior movie reviews, you'd also know that this one has a pretty drastic change in format. Before, you couldn't see my pretty face, my beautiful pretty face. It was a travesty. So, you're welcome. I'm taking all those jokes that I would throw in between the movie clips, the ones where it was like, starting line, and then I'd throw a picture on screen of a starting line, and I'm replacing them with this beautiful face right here, with this beautiful smile attached. So if you don't like that, then please keep it to yourself. It would be mean if you told me. Anyways, I've wasted enough time yabbering on about things that aren't paranormal activity, so I think it's time I yabber about things that are paranormal activity.
Whoa, this activity is paranormal. Ah.
Paranormal Activity is one of the most boring movies I've ever seen, so much so that it took me over 4 days and 5 sittings to watch it all the way through. And some may argue, Ty, that makes you a bad reviewer. If you don't watch a movie in one sitting, how could you possibly comprehend the director's original message? To which I'd say, whatever. Most of the time when I review movies, I want to give a general sense of understanding to people that haven't seen them. Retell a general plot summary scene by scene and give a vibe of what's going on, so if and when I tear out a new one, you at least know what's getting torn. But this movie in particular is so... oh my god, my keyboard's in so much of these shots, dude. I'm just gonna leave it there. But this movie is so grueling, such a giant snooze fest, that I instead am going to segment this video into 2 parts. Part 1 will be critical of the movie itself, talking on acting, cinematography, just basically normal movie reviewer stuff. And Part 2 will be the impact this movie had on the found footage genre and Blumhouse as a whole. Because if I'm going to review all of Blumhouse's movies, I think it pretty necessary to highlight what this movie did for them. If you care about one of those things and not the other, though, I'll put the chapter thingy on the bottom so you know where Part 1 ends and Part 2 begins. Alright, quick movie synopsis time. Paranormal Activity is a found-footage horror film starring a girl named Katie, as Katie, and a guy named Mika, as Mika. The movie takes place in the couple's house, and we learn that strange things have been happening around the house at nighttime. Mika is really into cameras, so he decides to film what's happening overnight and look over footage every morning. Do you think this will come up later? Comment down below if you think this will come up later. That was a fucking stupid bit. Throughout the movie, Mika has a much lighter tone about things, cracking jokes and making light.
Well, we are going to be sleeping with this camera, you know.
But Katie is very serious about the impact this haunting could have on them. A couple of days go by with minor jump scares in the nighttime, and Katie opts to get a priest to come by and check out the home. At which point, Katie tells the priest that she gets haunted pretty much wherever she goes, which explains why she took this haunting so seriously, but doesn't explain why she had the nerve to never pipe up and tell her boyfriend, hey, I'm kinda haunted all the time. I'm not saying that it's first date conversation, but these people live together at this point. Moving on, the spooky stuff happens more and more, and we see that whatever was trying to possess Katie finally got her. Oh no! She starts acting kooky in the nighttime, like just standing over the bed and staring at Mika while he's sleeping. But when I do it, it's weird. That's not a good joke. Don't put that joke in there. She starts acting kooky in the nighttime, until eventually she goes downstairs and screams for Mika and blammo! Kills him and hurls him at the camera. The camera thing mattered. There's not really anything else of note in this movie. It's kind of just jump scare, fake out, jump scare, fake out. Not a whole lot of substance. If you couldn't tell by my tone, I didn't like this movie at all, and if I had to rate it, I'd put it right alongside Clockwork Orange as a 1.5 out of 10. Boo! Bad movie! Thank God I only have to watch one of these. Right? Paranormal Activity was bad, but funny enough, it had a pretty big impact on what horror movies are like today. For starters, it launched Blumhouse Productions into the limelight of horror and started a chain of events that will eventually lead to me going insane, but still, credit where credit is due. It also led to a lot of horror movies heading more in the direction of jump scare cues and creepy found footage. Of course, the Blair Witch Project probably deserves a bit more of the found footage credit, but Paranormal Activity still played a pretty big part. And I mean, there must have been some charm in these movies. I mean, they made 7 movies. Everybody knows that a franchise has to be good if they make 7 movies. I guess I can both not like this movie and see the impact it had, but I wouldn't watch it again for any amount of money, except maybe $50. Yeah, $50 would be cool. Well, that's all for me, I guess. Subscribe if you like what you saw, like if you like what you saw, but without further ado, I'm gonna get on my high horse on out of here.